Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
My name is Happy Gilmore. I haven't swung a club in years.
You know what you gotta do.
Grip it and rip it.
Or... Oh, now that is some Happy Gilmore!
Everyone is talking about the comeback kid, Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, baby!
Happy Gilmore 2, only on Netflix July 25th. Rated PG-13, may be inappropriate for children under 13.
Welcome into 49ers Access. My name is Sterling Bennett, and today it's finally time for my 2025 San Francisco 49ers preseason and training camp bold predictions. Gonna dive into maybe some moves that may happen via the trade market, some potential cut candidates, and who I think wins some key positional battles. Hopefully you'll like, share, and subscribe to the audio podcast version of the show. Still shooting for over 100 reviews by week one of the regular season. And even if you can, help us down below by commenting your own bold predictions for the Niners preseason and training camp sessions in the next few weeks or so. But let's get into the show today, and let's kick things off with wide receiver Jauan Jennings and my bold prediction / hot take of the training camp and preseason sessions is that the San Francisco 49ers will not trade Jauan Jennings. I know it's a softball. I know it's a, well, duh, Sterling, but I want to ease us into the show as the takes get hotter and hotter and the predictions get bolder and bolder. So my number one semi-bold, semi-hot take is that Jauan Jennings will not get traded and receive a brand new contract. Again, that's a very, very, very cold take, if you will, but it's a Saturday morning. I'm tired. Let's ease ourselves in to today's show. But my real first hot take and bold prediction is that rookie running back out of Oregon, Jordan James, beats out second year back out of Louisville, Isaac Guerendo, to win the San Francisco 49ers running back 2 job. Now, we know Christian McCaffrey is solidified as this team's number 1 back. Unfortunately, he'll probably get 15, 20 carries a game, 5 catches, and be running to the ground by week 6, but fingers crossed that does not happen. So it's really important to have guys behind him that can spell him, relieve him, and give him some time to rest, recuperate, and also hopefully stay healthy throughout the majority of the season. And I love Isaac Guerendo. Don't get it twisted. I was on the Guerendo bandwagon before he got drafted to San Francisco 2 years ago. I love his skill set. He is a perfect fit for the Shanahan offense. He has the speed, the what-cut ability, and he also is a really good wide receiver that can hopefully help San Francisco out in the passing game. That said, if you've been paying attention, Shanahan's offense, although would probably still classify itself as a wide zone scheme, they are and have been transitioning into a more inside zone rushing attack in recent seasons, and Jordan James fits that type of schematics a lot better. I think Jordan James of this draft class was one of the better inside zone running backs. I think for San Francisco, for how bad they were in the red zone last year, not being able to punch the football into the end zone multiple times, costing them multiple games, that is where Jordan James comes to play, because last year at Oregon, 15 touchdowns. Every single one of his touchdowns last year in college were from inside the 20, inside the red zone. I think that matters. I think once pads come on, and the preseason games are here, you're going to see Jordan James look more pro-ready this training camp session and preseason than Isaac Render did last year. And I think it will push James up the depth chart as the offseason program progresses and as things ramp up to week 1 of the regular season. Hot take number 2, bold prediction number 2 is that Russell Gage, veteran wide receiver, not only makes the roster, but becomes the receiver number 4, beating out rookie Jordan Watkins and Junior Burgeon, while also edging out second-year receiver Jacob Cowing for the receiver number 4 on the depth chart, while Demarcus Robinson serves a suspension and Brandon Ayuk recovers from injury. Now, I tell you this, I don't like this prediction based on the fact is I don't want it to actually happen. I would love Jacob Cowing to ascend into an actual viable role in the offense as the next few weeks progress and preseason comes and goes, but he's currently injured. Not exactly sure how severe that may be, although there is still plenty of time to prove himself, and he did a lot of work in the offseason to get himself ready for this moment. I just don't know what that looks like. Obviously, it's super early, hence why we're doing these things now, and they're called bold predictions, but I don't think Junior Burgeon is going to find any role in the offense this year, maybe ever. I think he was brought in to be a kick return specialist and punt return specialist, and that's it, and that's all. And for Jordan Watkins, who's had a pretty good OTA minicamp and training camp session thus far, I think once the pads come on, you're going to see him kind of tail off in production. We've already heard those rumblings of the meeting room stuff has not been great from him. Again, he's a rookie, so that is going to happen. And Kyle Shanahan is already so tough on young rookie receivers. The odds any of these guys, Cowing, Watkins, and Burgeon, actually play this year, or at least get an opportunity to play this year, are pretty slim. Maybe outside of Cowing, who probably is and should be this team's receiver 4, but again, injured. Shanahan likes veteran players, and I'm in my thought process thinking that if Ayuk's injured, Robinson's out for, say, the first 3 games of the year because of a DUI in November, Shanahan's probably going to go back to old reliable, pick a vet that he likes a lot, and Gage has looked really good, very intertwined in the offense thus far. I believe he leads, or is at least third now after day 3 in receptions and targets in the offense. Now, what does that matter with non-padded practices? You can decide that for yourself, but I do think Russell Gage is in a place in a very early portion of training camp to edge out Cowing, Watkins, and Junior Burgeon for the receiver 4 job. I don't think that'll last the entirety of the year. I think once Demarcus Robinson comes back, you will see Gage either get cut or push down the depth chart further and further. Because, again, Robinson comes back, there's redundancy there. Don't really need Gage if you have Pearsall, Jennings, Robinson, and Cowing and Watkins and those guys. But Shanahan does not like playing young receivers, so Gage, to me, has a leg up on the competition in that room thus far. My third hot take of my bold predictions and hot takes is that CJ West, day 3 pick defensive tackle out of Indiana, is the Niners' best defensive tackle and outperforms second-round pick Alfred Collins throughout training camp. I think it was very rare during the draft process, and has been very rare the last couple of years, to have a collective A-plus pick, a pick that almost every fan can get behind. That was CJ West. People like Michael Williams, but they wanted other guys, Shamar Stewart, Mike Green, James Pierce Jr., even Alfred Collins. Some fans wanted different defensive tackles or an offensive tackle there at the second round. But I do think CJ West possesses something Alfred Collins does not have yet. Now, I think Collins can get there. There's a reason why Collins was a second-round pick over West, who was a day 3 pick. But West right now on day 1, to me at least, his Indiana tape indicates he has a better pass rushing plan than Collins on day 1. And I do think that their run defense although I think Collins has the leg up there, is not too different when it comes to ability right now. Collins has yet to play with the first team. Neither has West, but I think as things progress and they put the pads on, I think you will see West separate himself amongst the group. Now, I'm not going to say West becomes a starter on day one or whatnot, but I do think that West will look like, and I think you'll have fans behind pushing him to be this team's starting defensive tackle because he'll look like the best defensive tackle during preseason and once pads come on Monday. My next hot take / bold prediction is one that I don't like admitting I think actually will happen. That is, I think cornerback Darrell Luter Jr. is going to get cut. And the reason I say that is because despite San Francisco visiting with him like 4 or 5 times during the draft process 2 years ago, having high hopes for him last offseason to be maybe a starting cornerback on the outside for them, he just has never been able to find his footing. Now he's healthy for the first time in the offseason program, so that's a good sign and maybe a sign of change for him in year number 3. But when you have Deommodore Lenoir, Renardo Green, you draft Upton Stout, you sign Trey Brown, you bring in those 4 guys, you have those 4 guys, Luter finds himself kind of vying for that cornerback number 5 job, and through 3 practices, even with Lenoir, Green, although he's hurt now, wasn't 2 days ago, and Brown and Stout, you are also seeing now Gus Bradley's former cornerback in Indianapolis, Dallas Flowers, take first-team reps. That's 5 cornerbacks right now ahead of Luter Jr. on the depth chart. Now, maybe he becomes CB6, but without knowing how many safeties they want to keep on the roster, or if they value a special teamer like Siren Neal more than Darrell Luter Jr., things are not looking great for the third-year cornerback this season. I think he gets cut. I don't think he has a chance to make the roster if he continues to not find his footing on the defense this year. Again, he was not a Sala pick. He wasn't a Brant Boyer pick. He wasn't a Chris Kosar pick, if you will, albeit that's defensive line. This is a new regime, new defense being brought in to reshape, retool, cut guys, and trim the fat off the roster that maybe can't play or shouldn't play on a Niners defense that desperately needs depth and help to win now and in the future. Things don't look good right now for Darrell Luter Jr., hence why I think he does get cut, or maybe something else transpires with him in regards to a trade down the road. My next hot take is, and it is one I also don't like saying because I have Sam Aquanu beating out first-round pick Mykel Williams for the team's starting edge rusher job opposite Nick Bosa. Now, when you hear that, your eyes get wide and you say, really, Sterling? Sam O's going to beat out a first-round pick in Mykel Williams and Bryce Huff? Really? Why? What do you see? What are you hearing that indicates that? And I think that once pads come on, you will see Mykel look better. You'll see his play strength exude itself more on the field. Bryce Huff has yet to take first-team reps, though. Mykel, to me, is going to move around more, kind of be that kind of roaming agent of chaos on the defensive line, playing inside and outside. They can move him around so much. And I think with the defensive tackle position being so thin for the San Francisco 49ers, you like Alfred Collins, you like CJ West, you like Evan Anderson, but you don't really love Jordan Elliott, you don't really love Kalia Davis, and you kind of like Kevin Givens, but take it or leave it with him. I think Mykel will see himself playing inside far more often than we think, at least to begin the season. And that opens the door for Sam Aquanu to be this team's starting edge rusher opposite Nick Bosa. Now, we haven't seen Yetur Gross-Matos just yet, so maybe that changes things. Maybe Mykel just becomes this monster once the pads come on and during preseason. But right now, Sam O is splitting first-team reps with Mykel Williams. But I think that is not because Mykel is or has the inside track to being this team's starting edge rusher opposite Nick Bosa. I think Sam O would probably be the guy on base downs And then Michael is playing defensive tackle, moving around, and giving Robert Saleh and Chris Kosaric so much more versatility to maybe play every single down, but maybe not technically being this team's starting edge rusher on the opposite side of Nick Bosa. But again, a lot of time to go. I'm hoping I'm wrong about this. This is of the grouping. This is the one I'd like to be wrong about because I want Michael to be awesome and great. And I think his future is so bright. But I do think early on, at least, maybe week 1 or so, Samo may get that nod over him with Michael usurping him as the season progresses, which I don't think is really out of the realm of possibility for this young defense with a new regime and so many new starters in 2025. My next hot take is in regards to the safety position, and that is I'm not too sure Jair Brown is going to be a starting safety in week 1 for the San Francisco 49ers. Now,
USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks, or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Visit USAA.com/bundle. Bundle savings are off total premium, not available in all states or in all situations. To qualify, auto policy must be active prior to property policy issue, subject to change. Restrictions apply. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
with Malik Mustafa out, I can see the defense and Kyle Shanahan wanting to keep some sort of continuity in the back end of the defense. However, we are already seeing Jason Pinnock take leaps and bounds to kind of cement himself as a must-play player throughout the first 3 practices and minicamp and OTAs or so. Again, it's early, but I think it's worth mentioning that Pinnock is starting off to a really hot start, and we're also seeing Richie Grant take first-team reps, and that's without Mustafa being there. So I do think right now Jair Brown, although maybe in a good place to win the job, I think once the pads come on, once the coverage skills become necessary, once we start talking about and getting into defensive schemes and certain players, run fits and all that stuff, when the preseason happens, I do think you will see Jair Brown slide down the depth chart somewhat. Maybe it's not as simple as being their safety number 3. It could be in a rotation with Grant and Pinnock, but I do think that Jair Brown will not have a solidified starting job as one true safety, whether it's free or strong, on the defense. I think he will find himself in somewhat of a 3-man rotation by week 1 of the NFL season. And I do think that if he doesn't play well, that you're going to see Mustafa and Pinnock play a lot more together than Jair Brown out there, which would not be a great look for San Francisco, knowing that what 2023's draft class was Jake Moody, Cam Latu, and Jair Brown. One of those guys is already gone, and Jake Moody may be gone, and Jair Brown may not have a starting job. But I do love Tig. I think he's a great player and can be a great player and should help this defense this year. But new regime, maybe a brand new year. A lot of it kind of aligns with Darrell Luter Jr.'s hot take of being cut, albeit Jair Brown won't get cut. I do think that just think San Francisco needs a shakeup. And I think Jair Brown not starting could be that shakeup for them. There was times last year where Jair Brown got benched. This is a pivotal year 3 for him. And so I'm not exactly sure where he stands in regards to Robert Saleh's mindset at safety. But they brought in Marquise Siegel. They brought in Grant, Pinnock. They have Mustafa. They have Jalen Mahoney and other guys in that room. So it's a crowded room. I don't know where Jair Brown fits just yet, but I'm not sure he'll be a starter this season. I want to pause for 1 second to kindly ask you to like, share, and subscribe to the show. Send us your bold predictions down below. I want to hear from you and the faithful in the comments. Sound off down there. And if you want to go watch your San Francisco 49ers play this season, use our promo code 49ers Access, 49 ERSACCESS at SeatGeek.com to save yourself $20 off your first purchase. I use SeatGeek all the time for concert tickets, for baseball tickets, for football tickets. Whenever I can go to an event, I am using SeatGeek to get my tickets in the door. They have one of the best user-friendly places to get tickets. Green means good, red means bad. It's really, again, one of the best places to find your deals for tickets, and I'm hoping you can use that code and save yourself $20 off your purchase. Let me help you out while you help me out by partnering with SeatGeek and using that promo code 49ers Access. Okay, 2 more hot takes to go on the show for you, and I think it's about time we got to the kicking competition. It's polarizing. A lot of fans simply dislike Jake Moody. I get it. He's been a bust so far. There's some context behind that. The injury, the loss of maybe some mental strength last year was chaotic for a lot of people, including the fans, including Tabor Pepper, who was getting karate chopped by Deebo Samuel in the Buccaneers game where Jake missed 3 or 4 kicks. It was a nightmare for this team last year in many, many areas, including kicking. They had 3 different kickers throughout the year. Again, it was just a terrible season on all fronts. That said, I do think we are going to see Jake Moody outperform Greg Joseph and keep his job in 2025. I think Jake is, if you applied the same logic to a kicker as we do to a developmental edge rusher or receiver or tight end, I think that's where my mind's at. Again, you can't do that. There's only one kicker on the roster, so it doesn't give these guys time to progress. It doesn't give these guys time to build up, into being great players or good players in that matter. But I think Jake, with a new special teams coordinator in Brant Boyer, lighting a fire under his butt, having a new mindset in that room, and San Francisco really telling him, look, George Odom's gone. Tabor Pepper's gone. Mitch Wisnowski's gone. Brian Schneider's gone. You are one of the last guys in that room remaining from the last regime. We're betting on you to be better this season. We like what you can do as a player, and we hope that your 3rd-round pick draft status can actually be justified by us this season. I don't think Jake has been terrible, but I think last year certainly kind of clouded people's judgment about him. Again, he wasn't great in 2023, missing game-winning kicks. I get that, but he was just in the dumps last year with how bad he was. And I think rebounding this year, I think getting him into camp, hopefully preseason is the biggest thing for him because he's always been a good practice kicker. Come preseason, if he can figure things out, he already changed his stance this offseason, so there is a more compact kicking stance for him and mechanics for him. You have Brant Boyer there, who I think is pretty keen to keep Moody, knowing that Moody has a great leg. It's all mental. Happy Gilmore 2 just came out, and Chubb said in the first one, it's all in the hips. It's all in the hips. For Jake Moody, it's all in the head. All in the head. Jake really needs to have that mental clarity. I'm not sure. I think last year they talked about having him talk to a sports psychologist, kind of getting his mind clear. So I'm not sure if that happened, but it's a fresh start for a lot of people. I think this can be a fresh start for Jake Moody. I get it. People don't love that. They're done with it. They think it was a bad pick. I don't disagree with you per se, but I do think that Jake will edge out Greg Joseph to remain this team's number 1 kicker throughout training camp, preseason. And hopefully, if all goes well, won't be as bad as he was last year and may have the best year of his career throughout his 3rd year in the NFL. Even Jake said, I have to prove to myself I belong and deserve to be here. So even he's feeling pressure to perform. So I'm hoping with some tough love, Jake will be able to find his footing, no pun intended, once again. The final hot take and bold prediction of the show is that the San Francisco 49ers will make a trade. Now, I don't know if that means they will trade somebody away or they'll make a move to acquire somebody else. I do think there is room for this team to acquire another offensive lineman, a depth piece at that, not a starter, or even go get another linebacker. I love D. Winters. You love Fred Warner. You kind of like Luke Gifford. He's been on the first team. You love Nicholas Martin, a 3rd-round pick. You hope he'll grow quickly in year 1, but Tatum Bethune, what is he? Jalen Graham, what is he? Chaz Surratt. Like, there's a lot of moving pieces there, and I think maybe San Francisco may say linebacker is maybe one of the weaker places on the roster. Could that be a spot? Even defensive tackle, I think, could be a place where San Francisco maybe does a player-for-player swap or a 7th-round pick for a guy that could get cut, and they didn't want him going on into free agency. That happened last year with Khalil Davis, who, funny enough, retired this offseason with the Texans after he was traded to San Francisco. So I do think there is room for San Francisco to make a deal or a trade for another player as training camp progresses, likely more towards cut down day when people were saying, hey, we're going to cut this guy, in San Francisco saying, wait, we want him, before somebody else gets a chance to claim them or sign them. I also think there is room for San Francisco to trade players away. Now, I get it. The depth for San Francisco isn't there this season, and they've had a lot of guys exit the door, right? Dre Greenlaw, Hufanga, Mooney Ward, Deebo Samuel, amongst many, many others. Leonard Floyd, Malik Collins. Again, a lot of guys are gone from this team. But I do think that, going back to my Darrell Luter Jr. prediction of being cut, maybe instead of being cut for Darrell Luter Jr., maybe a different team would say, hey, young cornerback was injured. We'll take a chance on him. So I do think there is room for San Francisco to trade away Darrell Luter Jr. or somebody else along those lines. Maybe in their own right, it's a linebacker, Chaz Surratt, Bethune, Jalen Graham. Somebody will want one of these players maybe before they can get cut. Injuries happen, guys go down, roster spots open up as preseason progresses. We already know it ourselves. Pearsall's injured, Cowling's injured, Ayuk's hurt. Like, there's a lot of reasons to say, get a receiver. Many fans out there say, go get a receiver. So I think as the next few weeks progress, you will see San Francisco make a move or two, whether it is trading for somebody or trading somebody away. But sound off down below in the comments. Do you like my bold predictions? Do you agree? Do you disagree? And send your bold predictions and place those puppies in the comments down below. Tell me what you think your bold predictions are going to be for preseason and training camp. Do you think Jauan Jennings gets traded? If so, tell me down below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Leave us a 5-star audio podcast review. You can also follow us on social media at 49ers.access is the Instagram. 49ers_access is the X or Twitter. You can also check out our Substack. I'm giving you all my training camp takeaways that I've heard, that I've seen down in the Substack. It's brand new. Go subscribe there. I'll link it in the comments below if you can. Go subscribe there. It's totally free right now. What a great opportunity to get in there and get some more insight into your San Francisco 49ers. And finally, if you want to go to a sporting event, mainly a Niner game this season, use our promo code 49ERSAccess, 49 ERS ACCESS at SeatGeek.com and save yourself $20 off your first purchase. Again, drop those hot takes and bold predictions down below. And as always, until next time, my name is Sterling Bennett, and stay faithful.